Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Welcome to Women in Reggae series, brought to you by VP Records and The Inspired Woman for Reggae Chat Global. And I am so excited to bring to you some of the guests we've got lined up for this series. And really what I wanted to focus on was shining a light on some amazing women doing some great things in the world of reggae. All too often, we don't have enough of the spotlight put on some of these females. So you know what? I thought, let me just get up close and personal with some great women doing some great things, because reggae music is such a phenomenon around the globe and women have been instrumental in shaping that. So for my guest, she is utterly amazing, a real shining light in the reggae and dancehall field. She's a polymath. What does that mean? Well, she's multi-talented. She's a DJ, she's a producer, she is just truly amazing. She's a community champion. She's got her own community creative platform. I'm so excited to speak to this guest today. Her name is Izzy Bossy. Izzy? Hello.
What a lovely intro. Thank you so much. I feel gassed up.
Listen, you are amazing. Honestly, the first time, I knew about you before I met you, right? So I love to see young women doing great things. I love reggae music. I love dancehall music. I love that whole scene. But in general, I love to see women who are owning their lane and doing some amazing things. And you are one of them. You've been on my radar for a long time. Yes, and how I came across you is because I've worked with City Splash from the start, and of course you have your own stage at City Splash, which is huge, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. But we actually got to meet recently.
Yeah, we did.
Didn't we?
Yeah.
And you just have this light that shines. So not only you're doing amazing things, but I was like, I need to talk to this young lady and ask if she would love to come on Reggae Chat. And when I spoke to you, sometimes you can be a bit hesitant because you don't know how people are going to respond.
Yeah.
But when I came and spoke to you, I just felt some really good energy from you. And you were like, yes, sure. So I was like, amazing.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love the good energy.
Yes.
Good vibes and good energy.
Good
always.
vibes.
Yeah.
And that's what takes us through, right?
Yeah.
So you're a DJ, but how did you get into DJing? Tell me a bit about that story and that journey.
I've always loved music, especially reggae and dancehall, but I love all music. I think it's it's just something that's within me. And I started a platform called Bossy London. So I just thought there wasn't enough women in the creative industry as a whole, especially in music. All of the presidents of labels and the top people, the people who own the clubs and everything, it was always men. And I thought, what can I do to bring women together and give them more confidence to apply and push everyone to get to that level, because it's all about equality and it should be 50-50. So I started this platform, Bossy London. At the beginning, it was events. We were throwing events with female lineups. This was quite a while ago. And yeah, I was running the night. Lots of sick people were coming through and jumping on the mic. And
drop a few names for us.
We had Skepta. This was right at the beginning. Ray Black, Rico Nasty from America. We had Doja Cat when she was really small. Quite a few people. We worked with Megan Thee Stallion.
And when did you start Bossy London? How long ago was that, would you say?
Quite a while ago now. I don't actually know what year on the spot, but I've been doing it for a really long time. When it first started, there wasn't a lot of women movements, I feel. And yeah, that's why I really wanted to start it. And then from having the event, I thought, why am I not playing? I always wanted to DJ, but I was really nervous. And I'd said it to a few people, putting it out there, and people would just look at me a bit yeah. I don't know, it was just a really weird response. So I was like, do you know what? That actually gave me the fire to be I'm going to learn and I'm going to do this. And yeah, I want to be a DJ. So I have a show on NTS.
That's NTS Radio.
Radio,
right?
yeah. And they said I can use their studios. I had a show, but I couldn't DJ, so I was just selecting songs. I was like faking it till you make it sort of thing. And then they said you can use the studio to practice. And one of my friends, it's actually a guy called Jamo, he was like, I'll help you. Like, let's do some sessions and I'll show you how to play. So, yeah, I practiced and then I bought a little controller and started playing at home. And then I started reaching out to like a few of my friends who had club nights, and I was like, can I open for you? Like, I'll do it for free, I don't care. I just want a bit of exposure and a bit of confidence, because I'd literally pull up to the event and I'll be like, I can't do this, I can't do this. I was so nervous at the beginning. There was literally no one in there. It was just the bartenders, and they were like living their best life to the music. And yeah, that's how I started DJing. And then from there, I just got bigger and bigger bookings, and I'm actually I never really look at my journey, which I think lots of people don't. We're so like in the moment that you never have time to reflect, but when you talk about it, it gives you a moment to think like, I've actually got quite far from that opening and having the bartenders dancing to the set, to like playing to like big crowds. So it's quite nice, especially like as a female. I love to do something that I can hopefully inspire other young women to think, not even just DJing, just to think I can do whatever I want. Like if I want to do something, I can go and I can do it.
Do you know what? I love everything that you've said so far. There's so much for us to talk about and unpack in that.
I just said so much.
No, I love that. Do you know why? Because you had this determination and this idea for yourself, and some people will think that the vision is too big for them, but you didn't. You just like said, right, I'm just going to start. You didn't know how to DJ. You taught yourself how to DJ. You got your own bookings, you approached people, you were proactive, and you went out there. And as much as, you know, you maybe felt a bit nervous within yourself, there was some kind of drive and force and energy within you that you believed that it was possible. So I just want to focus on that for a minute in terms of who Izzy is. When you were younger, a little girl growing up, did you have this in your sights? Did you have this in your vision? Did you think, right, I'm going to get into music, I'm going to be a DJ? What were your future aspirations? If you reflect back to, I don't know, Izzy at school.
I don't really know, but I used to want to be a dancer. I used to love dancing. My mum was a dancer, and like my mum's like a really strong, powerful woman, and she used to really like push me. Like if I wanted something, like really random things, she would be like, go and do it, go and ask that person, go and like, she used to make me do things which like were out of my comfort zone. But she used to say the worst thing that can happen is they're going to say no, and that's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. So I think that's something that I've actually carried with me, because when I'm like reaching out to people, even though like sometimes I really don't want to and I'm like nervous and they might not reply and whatever, the worst thing that can happen is they'll say no. And it's not a bad thing. It's
not a bad thing. And I always say, do you know what? No is just the first answer.
Yeah.
And you can always turn a no into a yes. But if you're determined and you've got an idea of where you want to go, you can make it happen. And that's what I see with you, which is so beautiful. You're such a beautiful person inside and out. Oh, and when I met you, going back to when I met you, what I really resonated with was the vulnerability that I saw. And you're not afraid to talk about your vulnerability. We all go through insecurities. Life is a growth and it's a journey, and you grow more and more into who you are and more into your vision and your aspirations. And when I said to you, oh, you know, would you do an interview? And you're like, yeah, but I get so nervous. Yeah. And I thought, I love this girl because she's real. Because, you know, yes, it's about having confidence in yourself, but we all have those moments of self-doubt. We can all have imposter syndrome. We can all feel like, oh my gosh, can I really do this? And we have those moments. So tell me how you work yourself through that as a young woman who has kind of built so much and still so much to come.
I mean, imposter syndrome is a big thing. Like, even like when I'll actually be doing something and I'll still have like that feeling like, oh my God, like, can I actually do this? Am I good enough to be doing this? But I think It's quite a hard question because I don't actually know what it is, but I just think in my head, I'm like, I can do it. Like, why can't I do it? So many, like, you see so many other people doing it. I'm like, I'm just going to go. Even if I'm putting on a front of being confident, I'm going to be confident. My name's Izzy Bossy. I'm a boss. I'm going to boss up. I'm going to go and I'm going to do it. And then afterwards, when I come off, I'm always like, oh my God, I just did that. Like, that's so sick. Like, I can't believe it. But I think if you don't try and if you don't push yourself into uncomfortable situations, you're never going to progress in anything. Mm-hmm. So I think the feeling of uncomfortable and anxiety sometimes actually makes you progress in life in loads of different things.
That's so true. That is the fuel for growth. If we stay in our comfort zone all the time, we never grow. Yeah. So we've got to make ourselves feel uncomfortable and challenge ourselves and put ourselves in situations that we never expected or thought that we could make happen. But we've just got this idea and this vision to make it happen. And you've done that. And talking about growth, I want to talk about the fact that you have your own stage at what is arguably the biggest reggae festival in the UK. This is phenomenal, and this year is going to be your 3rd year. Yes, how did that come about?
Well, City Splash is actually my favourite festival. Like, from the first stage I had, I was like, no, number one. Like, this is my number one. This is everything that I have ever needed. But how did it come about? So I knew Ben. I didn't really know him. We just kind of were like, we knew each other. We'd never met. We just knew each other.
The founder and the promoter, and City Splash is Ben's baby. Lots of you will know that already. But Ben Ryan is the founder. He's the driving force and the vision behind City Splash, right?
And Ben is a G, and Ben is also someone who I must say always supports women. Yes. Yeah, big up Ben. Big up Ben. And I also knew Biggs through NTS. So like, yeah, he had a show, and like, we just used to cross paths and link up, and like, I just always had time for him. He was like someone who, like, we had great conversations. He's got 2 daughters. Like, we just had great conversations. So I knew both of them. And then there's this artist who I was throwing an event for her under Bossy London. And I needed a venue, and I reached out to Ben and I said, Ben, I've got this artist, like, I need a venue. Her name's Amaray. She's an Afrobeat artist. Can I use your venue? And he let me use the venue. We linked up, we met, and I think he was just really impressed with, like, how I ran the night, because, like, I was telling everyone, like, what I needed them to do. I needed the venue to be clean. I needed the chairs gone. I needed, like, lighting here. I needed sound check. I just was like, when I'm working, I'm, like, trying to do, like, every single thing, like the production, the sound, I'm DJing, artist liaison. Like, I take on too many roles. I think that's just my character. And he, like, said, like, I'm actually really impressed. The venue looks so sick and the party was so good. So after that, he said, like, do you want to do a Bossy London stage at City Splash? It's the first time we're doing it. And he was explaining it to me, and I was like, this is, like, an amazing opportunity. Like, I would love, like, thank you so much. Like, thank you for believing in me and, like, giving me this opportunity. So I had a small stage the first year. And I think one thing about Bossy that was a little bit different is the artists that we have and the DJs, they're a little bit left, if that makes sense. So they're not like your average. I always have, like, I'll have loads of different genres on the stage. So it brought something different, and loads of up-and-coming DJs, lots of female DJs, so I think it gave a little bit of something else. So the first year, I had Amaria Bibi. She absolutely killed it, and Parsalu, he's a great friend of mine, and he just came out as a surprise guest. I had loads of up-and-coming DJs, and it really went off.
I saw some footage from your stage, and honestly, it was lit. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed that.
I was so nervous. Like, the gates opened the whole day. I was like, what if no one comes? What if no one comes? Like, I was so nervous. I was like, I really want it to be amazing. I want good vibes. I want dancing. Like, one thing about me, when I play or have a party, I don't want anyone to be too cool. Like, I just want vibes and dancing. I just want vibes. So there was great vibes, and then Ben asked me to come back next year, and I'm actually the only female stage, which, like, I'm also, like, it's quite sick. I think it's quite sick. So last year I had like loads of sick DJs again, and I had like Naomi Cohen.
Yeah, the IQ as well.
Yeah, IQ. I had Boy. Had quite a few artists, and then again loads of DJs. And again, it went off. I even got a money pull-up. They said, like, that's the first time they've ever seen at a festival someone get a money pull-up. I was like...
For those of you who don't know what a money pull-up is, I'll just fill you in. It's when a DJ is just going off, everyone's going crazy, and people want the tune to pull up, and they're prepared to pay for it, and they put cash in hand.
It was £20.
That's more money.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh wow. Like, I always work with the same host, and he was like, I've never seen anyone like get a money pull-up at a festival. And then this year, Ben came again, and I was like, I thought that was my last year. I thought, like, it was great, like, end on a high note, they're going to have someone else. He asked me again, and every time he asked me, it's like he's asked me the first time, because I'm always so, I really appreciate, like, how much they support and believe in me. It's a really nice feeling. And this year I've got a bigger stage, which I'm so happy about, and I've got a really, really sick lineup. Up-and-coming artists and known artists and DJs on there, and I'm also going to have some special guests, which I'm not announcing, who are just going to come out, and I'm just so excited. I mean, I'm going to be there this year. I'm hopefully going to try and take a walk around your stage. I so want to, but super excited because do you know what? Your journey. Again, I talk about how young you are and all that you've achieved, and with such humility. And I want to go back to Ben and Biggs and big them up, because they are real champions for females in this space. Yeah. And the first I knew about you was through Ben. So I've worked with Ben for a number of years on different projects before City Splash, and he mentioned your name, and he's like, oh my gosh, she's so sick. Like, I love the way she works. And that's the thing with Ben and the way he works, is if he spots good talent, especially with females, he pushes that through. Let's face it, we're talking about women in reggae. I'm shining a light on women doing great things. Why? Because all too often we're kind of left, or you guys, especially who are at the fore, on the stage, behind the stage, are left in the shadows, not really spoken about enough, but are really doing great things to shape the industry. As we know, it's quite a male-dominated industry, the music industry in general. So I want to talk to you a bit about that and how you have what have you experienced as a female in this space and as a young female in this space? Have you come up against any kind of challenges, pushbacks, especially being in that male-dominated space? Definitely. There's been loads of occasions where I feel extremely undermined and not respected. And like, for me, like, respect is a massive thing. Like, I feel like we should all have respect for each other, and that's how we're all gonna like move forward in life. Like, everyone should just have a bit of respect for each other. And being a female DJ, I've had like times, like I was playing at an artist event, I'm not gonna name anything, but someone pulled out my USB.
Hold on. Somebody came up to your set and pulled your USB out.
Yeah, the music just was like done. Also, they could have corrupted my USB. Let's not like.
Why did they do
that? Well, it was actually over Last by Burna Boy, and this is how ridiculous it is. Because when I really deep it, I'm just like, this is so stupid. But I was playing and I played that song, and they basically, like, they were coming up to me a bit because my set was going off, and they were saying, like, you're playing all the songs that I'm going to play, and I'm like...
Can I assume this person is a male?
Yeah, it was
okay.
a male.
Okay.
It was all males. It was just me and then, like, loads of males on the stage, which is another thing that, like, as a female DJ, I would love to, like, work on something where it's like, if a female's DJing, we get a bit of space. It's nice to have a bit of space. Just, you know, people on the stage is absolutely fine, but a bit of space would be nice. And yeah, I played that song. It was the beginning, and then he pulled out my USB, and then I just didn't actually know what to do, because I was like, I'm there, I'm by myself, there's loads of guys, they're screaming at me. So I just left and actually cried. Because I was so, do you know, I was so angry, but I just felt violated, and that's the worst thing to feel. It's like, I've been violated and there's nothing I can do. There's like, and people are asking me if I'm all right. Obviously, clearly I'm not all right, and it was just, making it worse. So I've had that. I've had like people come in, and I think there's actually a video on my Instagram when I'm playing at another artist party. I didn't even realise this was happening until I posted it. But it's like a guy comes over and he keeps like playing with like everything and like pulling up the songs, and I'm like, yo, can you please stop? I'm playing now, so like if I want to pull it, I'm gonna pull it. Just let me play.
That's really encroaching on your space, like you said, and it's not okay. It's not okay. And there's this, it's not the first time I've heard this story. I've heard other female DJs talk about the fact that men will be in that space and feel that they have the right to touch the controls or pull up a track or do what they feel.
But they won't do it to each other.
No, they won't.
They would never do it to
They
each
won't.
other. There was also another time, do you know what I do want to say? There are loads of male DJs, especially in dancehall, who have my back and support me and like really push me forward, and I love them for that, and like ask me if I'm like, if they see anything, they ask me if I'm okay. Like the guy who I work with who hosts me, English Fire, like he always has my back. DJ Nate always has my back. DJ Lani always has my back. Sir Corey always has my back. But there's been situations where it's like I played at another artist event and I play on a USB and they didn't have that on the decks. It was a controller, and I had to use a laptop. And I missed my slot because there was no sound person. It was just quite unorganised, and I was like, I've come here to play and I want to play. It was actually at Skilly Bang's after party. I really wanted to play because I'm like, Skilly Bang's here, I want to see him play. I'm the only woman on the lineup. Like, I pushed myself to play. I was like, I don't care, I'm playing for 10 minutes. Like, I don't care if it's your set time. This is like the first time when I really pushed myself and was like, I'm not going to feel bullied or violated. I'm just going to go and I'm going to do what I have to do. And
where did you find that courage? Like, where did that courage come from?
Maybe from some tequila. I don't know.
Tequila does
yeah, no. I was with all of my friends as well, and like my partner, and they were like, just go up there and say you want to play, like just do it. I was like, do you know what, I'm just going to do it. And then Corey was like, you can use my laptop, plug your USB into my laptop. And I was like, oh, I don't really know how to do it. And he stood with me and he had my back, and I had my friend who's a host, and Nate was there, and they were all like really supporting me. And that was like the first time I was like, do you know what, I've got this, like I'm feeling supported. And I also think me doing that, even though I don't know, this is like a bit weird me saying this, me doing that kind of proved myself and made them think, yeah, I rate her, even though that should never be the case. Women should, if it's their set or whatever, they should have the respect. They should be able to go and do it. But I kind of think it made them rate me a little bit.
Gave you some stripes, really. Yeah,
even though it shouldn't be like that. That's ridiculous.
I know, but it's the reality of it. And again, this is why I wanted to do this series, because I really want to talk about some of the things that happen that people might not be aware of, and how difficult it can be for females in this space to really be taken seriously, given the credibility, and stand their own. And you know, you're on that journey, and we spoke a bit before about, you know, you're growing more and more and more into that and really owning what you're doing. And why? Because you are talented, and it should be that talent shines through. But as females, it's not always the case. And we want to change that. And you are changing that.
I did have a funny one. The funniest one was when I was opening for Sean Paul and the security wouldn't let me go on the decks because he thought I was a groupie.
I mean, that just says it all, though, really, right?
Yeah, I was just like, oh my God, I don't even know what to say, because like I'm actually coming here to work and you're being so rude, telling me like Sean Paul doesn't want me on the stage. And I'm like,
and he invited you, didn't he?
Yeah, and I was like, that was my job. It was just, yeah, I feel like he felt shame afterwards, but that sort of stuff, I think it always happens, and it shouldn't.
Anywhere where it's dominated by men, especially in the creative industry. But like I said, young women like you are breaking that mold and blazing that trail, and by talking about this and really exposing what's going on, men have got to check themselves as well. And yes, there are some men out there really supportive, champions of women, and we salute those men out there. But for the others who don't get it, come out your feelings, step out your ego, and understand that we are just as good. And we can, you know, we can own our space in that industry. Just give us the space to be able to do that. Yeah. So, stage at City Splash, your community creative platform. Bossy London, but you've also gone into production, music production. I want to talk about that. And that's kind of recently happened. So you've recently released a track, a tune, is that right? Yeah. Talk to me more about that.
I still get nervous talking about this as well because it's like such a new thing. But for a long time, I have wanted to produce music. I've wanted to like make my own compilations and my own rhythms and get people to jump on them. I feel like there needs to be more women in that space as well. And I just linked up with this other producer, Jack Cobb. He's been like teaching me how to produce. And basically how I started, I was doing like a edit pack. So like mixing up loads of different songs. And then when I was doing the edits, he was like, you should do your own songs, because I was in the edits, if you really listen, there's like loads of different songs in them. It's not just like a vocal on a rhythm. I've like put loads of different elements into the edits. And he was like, this is like really interesting. You're like doing something different and like mixing UK and Caribbean vibes together, and I'm trying to make my own sound.
I've heard it and I love it, by the way. It is
you.
a really sick track, and I think that you have exactly what you said. You want to create your own sound. You've done that. It didn't sound like anything else to me, but it sounded so fresh, so current. So I really want to see you doing more of that. Is there more to come?
Yeah, there's more to come. The song I did is kind of like a jungly track. I did sample My Princess Gone because I just love that song.
By John Mason, right?
Yeah, John Mason, yeah. And I'm singing in it just a little bit. I'm not trying to be a singer, but it just happened, and like we put it in, and yeah, it's been going off. And I've got, well, hopefully next year I'll be releasing something which will feature different artists, which I'm working on now. And yeah, I'm hoping I can produce more tracks, really.
There's so much coming. I mean, you know, we've got a limited time to talk about it, and hopefully as you progress, I'd love to have you back on to talk about some of the stuff that you'll be doing in the future. But there's so much that's coming up for you. Protégé is going to be on tour at the end of March, yeah. And you are one of the official DJs on the after party with Leela Ike, who I love, by the way. She's one of my favourite artists, current artists of all time. She's sick, isn't she? And you're going to be DJing at that after party. Yeah. How does that feel?
Yeah, I was actually really gassed when they asked me, because also I thought like, normally like what I play is like new dancehall, just again because I thought there wasn't enough women playing like really new dancehall, especially in the UK. Like, no disrespect, but every single time you hear like Murder She Wrote, Who Am I, and it's like the same things, not like the current stuff that they're actually like playing in Jamaica. So when they asked me, I was gassed. I was like, yeah, definitely. I love their sound. I love world sound. I think it's such a sick movement, and I'm really happy to be involved.
As we spoke, I mean, you mentioned Jamaica. I know you've been to Jamaica quite a few times. You love it there. That's your heritage. Yeah. And I'm sure it's part of the inspiration for you to continue. But there's, for me, like observing, there's this real movement where there are young people like yourself in this space who are really connecting all of the dots in terms of our culture and shaping our culture and creating our culture and elevating our culture and making sure that it's got longevity and that it will continue in terms of legacy. Talking of legacy, you're a new mum.
Yeah, I am.
Right?
Yeah.
You've got a daughter, right?
Yeah.
How old is she?
1. She's 1. Her name's Ocean.
Hi, Ocean. That's a beautiful name, by the way.
Thank you. It's her granddad's name.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, doing all of that in terms of having your daughter, but also juggling everything that you do and creating that legacy, how do you balance it all?
Well, if I'm being honest, I think that having my daughter actually pushes me to do more. I want her to be inspired, and I want her to know she can do what she wants with her life, because, I just want to empower her. And it can be hard. I would say it does take a village. You need like a lot of people around, but it's not impossible. And since I've had her, I think like it's inspired me to do so many things. And it's actually, having her has given me loads of confidence for some. I don't know, it's quite strange, because I think a lot of people, maybe it doesn't go that way. But it's just really pushed me to do more for her. I want the best for her, and yeah, I love being a mum, and I love that I'm a mum and a DJ, and I do so many different things. It's like I want other people to see that, and I want them to think like, well, no, not think, I can do that. Like there's nothing you can't do. And like I think in this life while you're here, it's like everything that you have to do everything for your happiness and your life, and what you want to do, you have to do it because no one else is going to do it.
I love that, and that's exactly why I wanted to have you on the show today to talk about what you're doing. You have to be a champion for yourself, and it's not always easy as a woman, but you're doing that really well, and I want you to continue doing what you're doing. There's so much more to come from you. We've got City Splash on the 27th of May. Izzy's got her own stage. If you haven't got your tickets, you better get your tickets soon because they are selling. So much more to come from you. Yeah. What I want you to do is look into that camera and tell people where they can find out about Izzy Bossy.
Follow me on Instagram at Izzy Bossy, Twitter, Izzy Bossy, Facebook, Izzy Bossy, TikTok, Izzy Bossy, basically everything Izzy Bossy. And also follow Bossy London on Instagram and YouTube because I'm starting a new freestyle series of up-and-coming artists. So if you like that sort of thing, follow me there.
Izzy, thank you so much.
It's been an
absolute pleasure talking to you, and I just look forward to seeing what's next to come for you because it's going to be great.
And thank you for making me feel so comfortable. I feel like I was so nervous, but I'm really...
both, girl. Yeah. You and me both.
It's so nice, so thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?